Hello, everyone. This is Cindy.
And this is Kimberly.
This is my podcast now.
Ah,
Nope. This is my podcast now. It has been brought to my attention that the last podcast consisted only of me talking. So, welcome to my podcast. This is a Playful Escape podcast with my guest. Introduce yourself, guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly, and I am Cindy's older sister.
Yes, hello. Welcome, guest. Kimberly, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Great. That's good to hear. How's it been this past week for you?
Okay, it's been pretty good.
That's good. Well, let's get to the hard hitting questions. All right. So you are family.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to start by talking about our family before I question you. I'd actually like to say thank you for those family members who brought it to our attention that they actually listened to our podcast. Hello, family.
Yeah. Hi, family.
Love you. Mwah, mwah. And see, the introduction is not pre-recorded, as you can now tell. All right, excellent. So, yes, family. Is there any family memories you would like to relive by sharing with us? Is there any family stories that you think are funny?
Oh no, I don't think it's funny. There's memories, there's things that I can remember, but I kind of want to bring up a thing that had happened or we discussed very briefly on the episode that we released today, which is the astrology one.
All right, well, you have to remind me, please, what it is you want to talk about.
In the astrology episode, we discussed how me as a Taurus likes to buy things, tends to be, I wish I can directly quote it, but I can't. But I like to be sentimental with material items, is something along the lines that the astrology podcast said.
Yeah. I remember. You're materialistic.
Yes, that supposedly I am materialistic, which I am and I'm not. But since then, I have purchased things and I have received those things, and this is connected to the family memories.
Did we not bring this up already? This sounds familiar.
Yes, we brought it up, but we didn't follow up with what those items were.
All right. I'll have to listen to our old podcasts to double check, but okay.
So the things that I bought that were sentimental value were a stuffed animal, but an Abu stuffed animal, which is from the Aladdin film.
Disney movie?
Yes. And I have also bought another stuffed animal, but these are magnetic. It is Nala and Simba from the Lion King film, and that their noses touch, so it looks like they're kissing. And I also bought, what is it called? Kind of like a tall-ish, not tall, but kind of big doll that are of the seven dwarfs. And they apparently change their mood when they're dunked in water. So I've had bought those. But the reason I'm bringing up these memories, family-wise, is that my dad did not know that we had purchased this, that I purchased this. And I got two of the three things when I think after we recorded that episode that same day. I opened it and I waited a day or two hoping that the Snow White stuff would come in. It didn't come in. So I waited a week for those to come in, but I got impatient and I showed my dad the things that I bought, but he didn't know what it is that I bought. It was in a box. I had him open the box, and as he was opening it, his reaction was like pure happiness because he's like, "Oh my gosh, I know where these are from." And my brother made the comment saying that, see, we learn to appreciate the things that we have, but only when we're older. So these toys have a lot of sentimental value because those are the toys that I remember playing as a kid. And the moment that he saw the Abu, which was at the bottom of the box, he screamed out in joy and started laughing. And he's like, Abu!
Yeah.
It just like brought me so much happiness as far as family goes.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to add this little snippet here. For like a couple weeks ago, I think Dad was the one that brought it up that you don't appreciate the things you have. Or we brought it up that we appreciate things, and he was saying how no, you don't appreciate things. And I keep going all over the place, but basically he was bringing up how he appreciates us much more than we appreciate him right now, because he knows that although he has his mom here at home, he appreciates us much more than he thinks he appreciates his mom. So he was saying basically, right now, you think you appreciate us, your parents, but the truth is that I appreciate you more. And I would like to say, I don't know how accurate this is, but I would like to say that I do appreciate a lot, you know? So just throwing that in there. Dad, I appreciate you. Mom, I appreciate you. Don't think we're taking it for granted. We know we are lucky. Although we complain, it's just to let out frustrations.
Yeah. We appreciate you more than you think. We just don't know how to express it, or we express it in the wrong way.
It's just really easy to be neglected also, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry. I don't mean to. It's not me, it's Kim.
Don't put the blame on me.
Yes.
But I was going to ask you, what are some family memories that you do have?
Oh, so we're going back to like memories. I don't really have many family memories. There are a couple things that I did wish that we had brought up in our memories podcast, which is like stuff about like our brother. We only brought up one story. But when we were young and our mom took us to elementary school, I remember being pretty close to our brother. Like he would be like really young but sleepy. He only had to leave with us because mom couldn't leave him home alone. So he would just be in the car ride basically sleeping because he didn't have to go to school yet. And I remember when Johnny was little, he had little brown curly hair. So I remember when he would fall asleep, I would play with his little brown curly hair. So I would just like little twirls in his hair, and I'd just like twirl my finger in it, and he would just sleep. And I remember that, and that's like a precious memory, if you will. And I also said how, or I also wanted to bring up how my brother and I remembered, because I asked him if he remembered this, and he said he did, that we used to take out this little white shelf from our grandma's closet that was, for the most part, empty. It just held in some of Johnny's toys because he used to like put his toys in there. And we bring it out, and we would like pretend we were playing store. So we would say that the shelf was either the checkout area or like an aisle where you can pick out items to like,
Yeah.
purchase. And we used to play store. We used to play with Nerf guns, but I mean, take that, people who thought I wasn't, I did like girly things. No, I played with Nerf guns. But yeah, those are like my precious memories. Those are things I actually remember. Some things I usually am like, oh, I was told that I used to do this, but I don't remember. But my memories, ones that I actually remember, are memories with Johnny, things that I think I used to do often. So playing store, going to school, those little moments is what I actually remember.
Yeah, some of the other memories that I have are mostly car rides. We used to go on a lot of family trips growing up,
Yeah.
but right now the coronavirus hasn't helped. But we've had family trips with just our immediate family, and then family trips with extended family members. That all the experiences that we've had with every family member that we went on trips with, or just happen to spend time with, each one of those memories are very precious to us in their own unique way, whether it is the conversations that we've had, the experiences that we faced together, or just the fact that we all would drive together, like have a big line of cars with one person either leading the way and another person tailing it. It was just fun because I remember sitting in the back seat of the truck and looking over to see, oh, they're still following us. They're still good. We see them, even though I'm pretty sure they had their own map to follow.
Yeah. So I guess we could bring up how we actually do have a family reunion usually annually with our family, which
Mm-hmm.
because of this whole pandemic, we didn't hold this year in 2020.
Yeah.
So we have some memories that are good from that family reunion. I mean, not to say that there's bad ones, but but there's other memories that you just don't really remember. It's just, your basic family. So when we were really young, I used to remember the family reunion just to like a time to see my cousins. Now it's more involved. We're like trying to make it more fun for everybody. And we're actually taking trips because before it used to be at different family members' houses.
Which became harder over time because our family just got bigger and bigger every year, that one house cannot hold that many people.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of us. Our grandmother had basically 10 kids. And although they're not all around, it's just imagine if there were 10 kids with their families. Even if it's like 5 kids with their families, that's still a lot. So there's like,
Yeah.
we have a family of like 50 plus people basically. We've counted, and I think it's like 100 and something, but the ones that show,
On our dad's side alone.
yeah. But the ones that usually show up to those family reunions and stuff were about 50 to 60 people that would continuously show up.
Hmm. Which, yeah, it became harder when they're from different states, all trying to find places to stay with family, ideally, or renting a room. And it got to the point that we saw a pattern and we wanted to continue some traditions of that pattern and change it. So there were a couple of years where we all went to like Vegas or Laughlin or Sedona, and we had planned to go to Santa Barbara this year, but the pandemic made it difficult for gatherings larger than 10 people, and each family has their own amount of people, and we had to cancel it for this year. And who knows what's going to happen for next year.
Yeah. So I guess addressing really quick, if any of our family from our dad's side is listening to this podcast, which I doubt, but hey, I didn't want to go to Santa Barbara. It sounded fun initially, but the more research that was done to get into it, it just was not family oriented. It was too much money that nobody was willing to spend on to get like decent hotels. It's more for younger couples, I suppose you could say, that want a weekend to relax by the beach, get massages, do what, people near the beach would do, which is like relax and chill all day, which is sometimes not what you want, especially when you live in California as it is. Like the beach is like not far away. You could very easily just take a
Yeah.
day and spend it at the beach and not spend the money at Santa Barbara. Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, everyone has their own opinion as far as that goes. And I think Santa Barbara was only mentioned because it was close enough that the drive wouldn't be crazy. And it was interesting enough.
It wasn't enough value for the money though. So like the more research, cuz we were kind of in charge of like putting it together. The more research we did, the more we thought it was worth the shot to go to San Francisco, although it was further for some people. We did drive 10 hours to Sedona. So,
A trip that should have been just
yes.
8 hours, I think.
And it ended up being 10 hours because there was fires. There were basically roads that weren't roads that we had to take, detours basically.
The interesting thing about fires is that California is really known for having a lot of fires. And there was a fire like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and the fact that we went over there and there was a fire on the side of the freeway for that made it hard for us to get there was hilarious, because then there was a moment where family members from out of the state came into the state, and we had a massive heat wave that year that it cut all the electricity for the city.
That was like a year or two before the Sedona one that we were talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
But I remember that. That's fun.
We just accused each other.
Oh,
We accused each other. Like, you brought in the heat wave, we took the fires to you.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I guess I'd like to take a moment to say, family, we also appreciate you, because sometimes I feel like Okay, when I was really young, I never appreciate I mean, I love my family and everything, but you don't appreciate it, you know? You don't realize what you have until you see how bad other people have it. So, because I'm older, because I know how people may not be close to their family or may not be as lucky as we are to be able to take these trips or take these time off or get together at this around the same time. I really do appreciate that, you know? So those are happy moments. These are nice moments to share. It's a little sad that we don't get to do it now, but hopefully that when our family thinks about these moments, they think, "Oh, how lucky were we that we got to spend that time together." And then the next time that we possibly hold another family reunion, they're going to feel the same way. It's like, how good is it that we get to see you again after 2 years of not seeing you, possibly? You know, you never know.
Hmm.
But I would like to think we would see them before, but sometimes it's just hard. And with our mom's side of the family, we see them all the time. Don't miss them. I'm just kidding. Miss you too.
If it's local, it's easier to meet with them and gather together versus my dad's side, which some are local and some are out of state. And the communication is just harder when everyone has their own situation.
Yeah. I also would like to add that apart from like when you get older, you get more involved with wanting to be a part of the adults, I guess you could say. Do you see what I mean?
Can't relate.
Oh, okay. It's just me. But yeah, no, you like when you're younger, you're more interested in like, oh, let's go play, let's go play. I want to hang out with my cousins. It's like, but as you get older, you want to hear the stories. You want to be in the adult talk. But when you're younger, you're like, I don't want to sit here and listen to all these adults talk. I don't care what they're talking about. I just want to play.
Can I elaborate on that?
Sure.
On as to why I can't relate is, for example, on my mom's side of the family, I was the firstborn female, and the relatives closer in my age were all guys, and were at least 3 or 4 years older than me. And then the people who followed had a bit of a bigger gap, or I didn't see them as often, so I didn't have that bond. Meanwhile, for you, on both mom and dad's side of the family, you had relatives that were just a couple months younger than you or older than you, literally born the same year. And you had that bond where it was easier for you to have relatives to bond with. Well, for me, I didn't have that on either side of the family. So that's why I can't really, because I was more of a drifter when it came to that. Because I would be like, oh, I'll be in this group, but they don't want me there. So I'm going to go in this group, but they don't want me there. And I'm going to just go hang out with the adults because that's the only thing that I can do left.
Yes, it makes sense, but that doesn't make it an excuse because all my cousins that were within my age group, the majority were still guys. I just like to address. There's only one female in that.
I wasn't saying gender as like an excuse, but it was just initially yes. But I was just drifting. I was more of a drifter in groups, and I think I still see myself as a drifter when it comes to family, which is weird.
I get that. And I suppose in a way I am the same way. I like talking to different family members, but I do it for different reasons than you do. You, for whatever reason, feel like you don't fit in, so you switch groups. So I guess it depends on like the mood you're feeling. Are you feeling more adultish? Let's hang out with the adults. Are you feeling more childish? Let's hang out with the kids. But I do it more so as to I haven't seen you in a while. I should talk to you and see how you're doing. What's going on in your life, you know? And maybe possibly even share, hey, this is going on in my life. Let me talk to you a little bit about me too. Because I mean, at the core, everybody I've already I'm sure mentioned this is pretty selfish. They're more interested in their own self interests, which is why that's how I grab people. I talk to them and ask them about them. How are you? How are you? What's going on? What do you want to share about your life? And then after a while is when I'm like, oh, about that, relating to that, I'm doing this, you know? So I poke myself in there, not to be like, oh, listen to me now, it's my turn, but just to also give them like a little friendly update, like, hey, I'm doing this too, if you're interested. If they are, they'll probably like, oh, try to get more information. If they're not, then that's okay too. You don't have to be interested in everything I'm doing.
Mhm.
So for me, it's more of it's time to catch up with so and so, and now it's time to catch up with somebody else. So I don't do it's like, oh, I don't fit in here. As they're all my family, they all care about me in one way or another, but it just depends. I suppose I just pick, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Let's go hang out with you. I want to talk to you about my life. So I don't really
Yeah.
feel that, like, oh, I don't fit in here. I mean, yes, there are times where I feel like I don't fit in places or I feel left out of things, but I don't let it get to me because I'm sure on accident I've done that. I've made people feel left out because, like you said, I have cousins that are within my age range and I used to hang out with them. I never thought about how that affected you or Johnny or how it affected any of my cousins' siblings that we were also leaving out. It wasn't until it was brought to my attention
Mhm.
that I was like, oh, yeah, I feel kind of bad now. But like that wasn't at all my intention.
Yeah, and in a way, yes, that's what it is because like when you guys have such a close bond, no one wants to interrupt that bond, and we just happen to be pushed into the sidelines, and sometimes we just get overwhelmed with emotions or get overwhelmed by the thought of being left out that we don't see that there were other people on the sidelines too, because I'm pretty sure there were other people on the sidelines, I just didn't see that.
Right.
And now that I think about it, there were other people on the sidelines. I just didn't think about it until now.
Yeah. Well, when I brought it up, because I think you were the one that said, it's like, oh, you always leave me. That's not my intention. But you didn't think, oh, but you always leave Johnny too. So it's not just me? So,
Yeah.
but yeah. And that, like I said, that's not at all my intention. It's not that I want to leave anybody. It's just they want to hang out. I hang out. That's kind of what it is. And I mean, now I don't have them to hang out with. So, I mean, if you're free, I'm available, but we don't really do anything.
I mean, I attached myself to you and Simon a
Yeah.
couple of times. I'll be like, I
Yeah.
want boba. Let's go to boba. Or when I crave donuts, Simon will
Hmm.
drive us there. And I'll be like, all right, we're going. I'm like, we're bonding. I like push myself onto you.
Yeah. But like Simon and I, we will be ourselves. It doesn't matter who's around us. And we're not the type of
Mhm.
couple that's super like affectionate all the time, which makes those moments when we are, I don't want to say being intimate, but being like actually listening to each other and having a moment, it makes those moments even more special. Like the other day, we were arguing about something because like I said or did something that he didn't like, and I knew I feel like I'm readdressing this, but I knew that I did something he didn't like, and I was just so upset that I did it anyways. And he was like, well, I don't think you should have done that. And I was like, I know I shouldn't have done it. It's just I was just mad I did it anyways. And he was like, oh, well, I don't appreciate you doing that. And we basically just kind of fell silent. Like we both knew we were wrong or upset or just not okay. And then later on, after we like had calmed down, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for this." And I was like, "I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I can't take it back. I'm just sorry about it."
Yeah.
And he was like, "That's okay," or he didn't respond that with like, "That's okay," like very quickly. So I was like, "Do you forgive me?" And he was like, "Yeah, I forgive you." And so I was like, "Okay, cool." So that moment to me, that felt special because we actually had resolved the issue, even though we were talking about it at a certain moment. We were just both getting upset again that we just didn't resolve it until like an hour or so later we did resolve it, and that felt good. So it's stuff like that,
Mhm.
that those feel like intimate moments because you feel like you're overcoming something together, which is nice. So,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure like you've been around me and Simon a lot, and we're not like super affectionate people. The way we are with you in the car is the way we are all the time. So we're always talking about weird, random stuff. We're always just doing us, living our best lives.
It is amazing to see what a 10-hour drive will show you about a couple.
Yeah,
Because I sat in the back seat of that car ride too, where
when we went on the family reunion.
yeah, and I was just like, I want to sleep. I tried watching stuff because I wanted to be in my own little world and let you guys have your moment if you needed to have a moment or whatever.
No, I mean,
I was in charge of snacks, and the entire time it's just occasional bickering here and there, but it was fun. It was really fun to see you guys just in your prime zone.
yeah, most of it was like some bad singing, some talking.
Terrible singing. Very terrible, Cindy.
No, it was so funny though.
It was funny.
And I mean, Simon hasn't complained about my singing. I think it's because he's self conscious about his singing, which is why he doesn't really do it, which is why he doesn't also criticize mine.
That's an interesting approach.
Yeah.
A round of applause for Simon, everybody.
Woo. But yeah, no, I feel like, yeah, you can't always just be hard on yourself or on other people. So don't criticize. But yeah, so this was all family oriented. So we're going to go from family that exists, we spend time with, to possible families that you would like to expand on. So basically, I mean, we already talked about this a little bit the other day with Simon. I suppose I'll ask a series of questions. Yes?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So the first one is, do you want to have a family in the future? Your own family that you created possibly in you or adopted, because you never know.
Yes.
Okay.
A story behind that. I know going to school a lot, Mom, you would always talk about how painful childbirth is and how difficult it is undergoing pregnancy. That I told her I'm having one kid and that's it. I'm adopting the rest. And I'm still firmly on that. If anything, I'm okay with 2 kids and adopting or just adopting.
So you're like afraid of pregnancy? Is that what this is?
Yes and no. I'm afraid of pain and doctors, so
That makes no sense to me, but okay.
it doesn't need to make sense.
No, I mean, because like I'm pretty sure I'm a little afraid of doctors too. But pain I've had all my life. And trust me when I say I often get hurt. Like I help Simon do stuff and like I feel pain when I accidentally hit or do something. I mean, you saw me just earlier today. I was stretching and I hit the damn wall. Sorry, I hit the dang wall. And I hurt my hand, but I mean,
I don't even. You were stretching a sweater and like moving your arms and like.
no, I was stretching and I swung my arm and I was way too close to the wall and I just basically hit the wall with my knuckles and fingers, so that hurt.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, pain, I welcome pain. That means you're still feeling something.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time,
But you're just an emotional roller coaster that you just don't want to feel anymore.
I don't want to feel pain. I will feel it. I just don't want to. And I guess that's why I say yes to the kids, but kind of no on the pregnancy.
Okay. But then you won't, I mean, well, you will. But if you could have kids, you wouldn't want to birth that or create that life. I feel like that's such a special thing to do. And not many people are able to.
It is a special thing to do, and I would want to, but I would want to limit that.
I get that because like Simon always talks about like how many kids we're gonna have, and he's like up to 4 numbers, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I would settle for like a boy and a girl. That's it. So like 2 max. Well, not max, but like at least. And I'm kind of like you, where I don't know how bad it is. And yes, mom has told us how it can be painful or how, body intensive it could be and stuff. And yes, that is important, but I need to know how it happens. So I would have to go through one pregnancy and birthing to see if I would be able to do it again more than once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know for like mom's last pregnancy that like that one sounded, I think, the most painful.
Oh, don't get into details.
No, I'm not going to, because this is not our story to tell. But I think that would be the probably the most painful one that she had. I think, I don't know. We could ask her.
Yeah.
So, kids, yes. You would like to have multiples, birth possibly only one, but adoption is an option.
Hmm.
Okay. I like that. So, outside of the family, so this is more going backwards before you have a family. But I did want to ask, you want to move into a home, right? Like a house. Or do you care if it's like an apartment or
I don't care if it's an apartment or a home because essentially it will be a place to eat and sleep and do laundry at, essentially. Ideally, I would want to have the opportunity to travel, which would take me away from home for longer periods of time. And so the size of the home doesn't matter. The thing that I do request in my future home, and I say home because
request? Are you putting in what is it? Like a application?
yes, when I apply to get this future home, or when I move into this future home, the checklist that it must have. No, I'm totally kidding. No, one of the things that I would really like to have in a home, or hope to have in a home, of course, I say is that as a request, but it is like a wish list.
A desire. Yeah, something you want, huh?
Yeah, is at least to have a designated place for work and decor and a mini library to hold my treasures.
So you want an office.
Yes.
Okay, then why don't you say that?
Because I don't know how to phrase it as just an office because I want so many things in that office that it's just not an office.
You want an office space. That's what you want. An office space requires a desk, bookshelves, some little decor to make it feel homey. It could be like, unless you want to settle on like a little, what is it? Bedroom nook or something like that, a little corner, but that's still like a little office space basically.
Yes, but if you say office, it sounds so boring. I want to make it my happy place. So I want a designated area to make it my happy place.
Okay.
It's open for interpretation.
Podcast studio.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's all you have for your future desired home, just an office space and
A place to sleep.
somewhere you can. Okay, but that's not very elaborate.
No. I mean, if you want me to go more into details, like what kind of a home or the interior that I would like, I can go into that.
No. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit of like what I expect so you can get
Uh-huh.
a little bit more of a feel of what I'm trying to get.
Okay.
So for me, for example, there are many different parts of me that want an extravagant life or just the simplest life. And I have mentioned, I think, in a different podcast, how I want to go into living more slowly. So being more aware of how you're living and conscious of everything you're producing or taking in. I don't know how else to rephrase that. So for me, I would like a house, an actual house, a home, a place I can make my own, a place that I could eventually own. An apartment I would probably be renting, and I don't want that really. So I'm not totally big on, oh, I need to have a big land. It could be a small land, just something that you can make your own, patio furniture or your own little backyard corner. I have thought about wanting a garden. I thought about beekeeping, but that would be if I had a bigger plot of land. If I had a small home on a huge plot of land, I would do those little things. I've also thought about composting, but that's just me. So I would probably have that somewhere far from home, so it's not an eyesore, if you will. And my little simple home, quote unquote, it would be enough for me in the sense that I don't see myself having a huge kitchen with everything, all the amenities, but I know that's desired, you know? And I know Simon likes having a bigger kitchen. So it would have that because that's what he wants. What I think about is how I'm supposed to be doing laundry because I'm always doing laundry. I want a big enough laundry space where I don't care about specifically the washer and dryer. As long as they wash clothes, I'm good. But I often have to hang dry items, or actually, if I had the space, I would have clotheslines outside to hang my things. So I wouldn't need to account for it inside the home. But if I had a smaller plot of space, I probably wouldn't want to have those clotheslines in my little tiny home. I mean, I could still, but I would want to account, I suppose, save space for it in my laundry room. So that's another want I want. Like you, I would like to have an office space, but that's mostly because I'm always, right now, I always see myself on the computer, especially with this pandemic. But you always need that little corner where you could get away and focus on work.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like, well, to be honest, so when I went away for school, I had my own room, which I don't know if we've ever addressed. We don't have our own room. We share a room, all of us, all of our siblings. So 3 kids in one room or 3 adults in one room.
Not fun.
No, it's not fun. It's not for the reason that people expect. It's not that I don't get along with them and we don't have our own space. It's just we don't have our own space. We can't cut the room into 3 and just like, this is yours, this is mine, this is mine. It's like, no, we have to live like on top of each other. And it's not good, especially when there's like a 6'2" ginormous man child in the room.
He's not a man child. He's our brother.
Yeah, but like he's huge. His foot is like the size of my torso.
I don't think we have given a descriptor for the people who are just listening how big our brother is.
I said 6'2", so yes, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
He's very tall.
Yeah. And just to give like an idea, I'm like 5'2", so so he's like a foot taller, which is big. And we don't even have designated drawers for ourselves.
No.
Well, I mean dresser drawers, I guess. Cuz we have our own drawer, but we all share like this giant dresser basically.
And it's not even a dresser, it's actually a shelf that we put cubes in it, like baskets.
It's like the IKEA typical cube shelf.
Yeah.
You guys know it. You all seen it.
Yeah.
It's the one that everybody repurposes. They use the small ones. We use like the really huge one though.
It's hard to be able to share a room with 2 other adults and you have things that you want to keep for yourself or properly store or display, and it's hard to do that when you don't have that kind of space.
I would like to add that even in our kitchen, we don't fit. Like, we don't have enough cabinetry for everything that everyone's keeping. And you keep buying more. I have addressed this in a different podcast. Like, I just remembered that you bought a bunch of cups that are currently now being used, but you would get upset about initially when people would use them. And I was like, why'd you buy them if we're not supposed to use them? But you bought like these really huge cups from like Target for like $1, and you got like 4 different sets and they each had 3 in them, or 3 or 4, and so you bought like 10 plus cups to not use, to save for your possible future home. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
So let's talk about that. In your possible future home, like, you often buy things that you're like, oh, this would be good in my house, in my room as decor. So stuff like that. What can you tell me about that? So you bought those cups. Why? For your future home?
I bought them to use and then they got stored somewhere else and I forgot about them. But
you would get mad when anyone would use them when they were in regular locations where everyone would look.
I guess I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest, but I guess
Shameful.
the things that I would want to have in like my future home, whether it is an apartment or an actual house, is the stuff that I can't display, like the vinyl player.
So you're a nerd through and through.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know if I want to see your future house.
It will be much more elegant than what it is now, of course. It would fit a certain theme. I imagine my home to be black and white with a pop of color, depending on the rooms. But I wanted to have like a vintage style theme.
Okay, I like mid-century modern a lot more now. I used to love industrial, and I still really do like industrial, but I'm more of a mid-century modern now. I think it's cuz I changed kind of a little bit who I am. Like I said in like the last podcast, I believe, like I'm being more like aware of how I am. And mid-century modern is basically like 70s kind of styled items, but a little bit more classic. So I feel like that would be really easily accessibly purchased secondhand, possibly. But, you know, it's hard. And apart from your black and white and pops of color, is there anything else you foresee in your home?
Mm, besides like specific kinds of items to display or electronics to have, not really. I imagine it kind of modern with a slash of industrial and minimalism in that kind of sense.
Oh yeah, I feel that. I would really love to be minimal. I've already said that, but I doubt it's gonna happen. I suppose I love stuff. I'm just a hoarder. Sorry. I don't know. No, I'll get there. It's just, and also I would like to say I don't think we have nearly as much stuff as we possibly think we do because we are in a shared space. We are limited to
Mhm.
the amount of items. I mean, I will say I am a master at storing things, so like as soon as you open a drawer, like an accordion of things will fly out, I feel like. And my brother can attest to this because I help him do his laundry and store his clothes. So he always says when I put his clothes in his drawer, he feels like if he grabs one shirt, the rest are just gonna fly out. And that's like an excellent like description of how I organize my stuff. It's like packed to the brim, which is unfortunate because then everything's just gonna like hold its shape and you like undo your shirt and there's just creases in the shirt from like where you folded it.
Yeah, I think one of the things about minimalism is they get to see everything they own. And because we are in a shared space, we don't get to see everything we own because we have different corners or different approaches to our storage that makes it nearly impossible to see everything. And if we were to lay out everything that we own in one designated area in one designated room, not shared space, it would definitely be easier for us to say, "Oh, what? I've kept this for so long. Why did I do that?"
Oh yeah, I guess you brought up like an excellent thing that I think a lot of people can relate to when they're cleaning. You like go into this rabbit hole of like memories and like you start putting things on that you didn't know you had. So like I personally have a Bugs Bunny beanie that I don't want to get rid of because I bought like at Six Flags and I really do like it, but I would like to save it for my kids, which is why I don't want to get rid of it because I would love to see my kids wearing and rocking my little Bugs Bunny hat. And it also kind of reminds me of a picture that we have of me holding a Bugs Bunny on like my shoulders.
Mhm.
So it kind of reminds me of that too. But I don't want to get rid of that. It's not so much sentimental, but it's like a want that I have to share that, you know? So I don't want to get rid of that. I am not like some people that like, oh, I'm saving my clothes for my kids because it's gonna come back in style. No, I'd rather not hold on to a lot of things that I know I'm not gonna use. But I do have a lot of things. When I think about the amount of things that just in the past 8 years or even 3 years that I've purchased or have been in my possession and then have then left my possession, it's crazy how much stuff we have and we continue to get. So, I mean, yeah, but those rabbit holes of when you're cleaning and you find stuff, that's so fun. Cause like we used to have like these fake glasses that we used to wear for like no a reason whatsoever. And you would just like come across them. And every single time we were cleaning, I remember you or me would put them on. I got rid of mine, I think, before you.
You did.
Yeah, but like every single time we clean, you just start putting everything on. Like by the end of it, you're like covered in dust and covered in like things that you never are gonna wear again, except for that one day that you cleaned.
Yeah, unnecessary jewelry, accessories,
Yeah.
hairbands, all of those things, even like clothing items like, oh, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna wear it one more time before I get rid of it. Wear it for 20, 30,
And that time was that day.
20, 30 minutes. All right, here in the dumpster thing. Or you start playing with something and get completely distracted by a thing that you find.
Yeah. Like what are those is it a flute? The little players that we used to have in like in elementary school? No, it's not a flute. It's
They're technically,
yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, every single time I find it, I always try to play it. And I actually know where it is now. It's actually behind the door. So I don't do that when I'm cleaning anymore. But I also don't want to get rid of it because I don't know, school.
I think I still remember the tune for one of those songs.
Yeah, me too. Well, because it's easy. And that was the point.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of stuff. I'm looking around. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. When you think about it, there is a lot of stuff. Everything visually that you're looking at is things, it's stuff. And it's just a lot.
Yep.
So, is there anything else? Or do you want to start asking questions, or do you want to keep sharing anything that you think I would like to hear? Because I feel like you don't often share a lot about you, what's going on in your head, what you want in life, what are your desires. I'm like Lucifer. Tell me what you desire, your innermost thoughts.
What is your deepest desire?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Lucifer is such a good show. We are having a bunch of different tangents. I don't know. It's hard for me to just come up with things to talk about unless I don't have questions to answer or unless an idea pops up. So usually I would text you if something comes up.
Okay, so then let me ask you something. So you said you wouldn't mind living in an apartment.
Mhm.
This is a question that Simon had given us. Would you move out of the state? Would you move anywhere else?
Yes,
Okay.
I wouldn't really mind relocating.
Okay. Elaborate. Why not? Because most people, I feel like, would find that difficult to do.
I guess it would tie back to what I had said in the beginning of the episode. I am kind of a drifter when it comes to the family, that I would just try to figure out where it is that I fit. And because I feel that amongst my family, I feel that amongst our home state. And by having the chance to move to a different state, it'll give me a chance to further explore and see if I click anywhere. And it's not that I'm trying to find my purpose in life, or it's not like I'm trying to find a place where I fit in, because I have come to an understanding that I don't need to fit in anywhere. I don't need that. But I want to see if I can just find a person that I can click with. And it doesn't need to be romantically, it can be like a friendship in some kind of way. And if I can find that, then maybe I wouldn't mind bringing them back home and sharing it at home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was actually going to say what I'm hearing from all of this is that you want to find someone or something or somewhere where you belong.
Yes, kind of.
Okay. So you feel lost in the world.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people can relate, but you're just more aware of it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because, I mean, I've constantly told you how I can often feel lost, but it's only in certain aspects of life. And I feel like you are aware of it in all aspects of your life where you feel like you are lost.
Yes.
And to me, I feel like family wise, I don't feel that lost. I feel like I've got good family, immediate family, so our household. The next line of defense would be the exterior family, or like our aunts, uncles, cousins, and stuff. They're all good for the most part. You know, they all have their little things that they could use improvements. I'm talking to all of you. You all know who you are. No, I'm not being specific.
Everyone has their flaws.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not being specific, it's like throwing hate to anyone. It's just everybody has things that they would like to work on,
Of course.
would like to improve on themselves. Unless they're, just narcissistic and think they're perfect. But hopefully none of you are like that. You always want to be a better you every day. Be the best you can be, please. But sometimes I can feel lost in different aspects?
Yeah. I think it's just easier to admit that you are lost, but not in the way that you phrased it. Because I was saying that I'm a drifter. I am trying to find my sense, purpose in the world. But whether it is searching for a person, a place, or a thing, I guess it's more deeper. Like you need to feel something in your soul, like that passion that ignites everything. And like you were saying, you feel that you don't feel lost with your family, and I don't feel lost with my family either. Like I'm very fortunate that we have the family that we have, immediate family and external family members as well. But because I know I have that bond with the family, I feel perfectly okay leaving my family to be able to come back whenever I want, if that makes sense.
Yes. And this is actually kind of funny because I haven't mentioned this in the podcast, but Simon wants to leave the state or wants to move somewhere further because of everything he wants to look for in a home. It would be more affordable, or we would get more out of our money if we were out of the state or if we did move somewhere further from the family. And he always asks me, "Are you willing to move? Are you willing to move?" And there is for me some hesitation just because I love my family. I don't want to be away from my family. But I feel like I have such a strong bond and connection with my family. And I know that if any of them want to visit or want to, see me, they will go out of their way to do so. And that makes it a little bit easier for me because if we do move away, I always tell Simon, but we need to have extra rooms because I want my family to visit me. I want them to have a place in my home
Mhm.
for when they want to stay longer than a weekend. Or even if it's just for the weekend, I want them to be comfortable that weekend.
I think I haven't given that part
Oh,
much thought because
right.
I had said I wouldn't mind living in an apartment, but I see it in a way like I'm gonna leave and come back every single time, like to the home. And the reason I would be okay moving somewhere else is ideally just because of the cost and also maybe work. If I get a job that will take me somewhere else, I'm just gonna figure out what my needs are and I'm gonna pay an arm and a leg if I have to come back home to my family. But if that is the case, then yeah, I would definitely want to have a home. Doesn't have to be a house again, but a home that can house more than one person. Because right now I was just thinking, oh, a 2 bedroom place, my room and then the office space. No, it would need to be at least a 3 bedroom.
Okay, so yeah, that's where you and I are really different because to me, my home is going to house my future kids. I don't have any currently, just throwing that out there in case anyone's curious. But I don't have any kids, but I know I do want to have kids, and I'm likely to have more than just one. So I don't want my kids to be amontonados or like stuck in one room like we are. So I would like to have, okay, at least 4 bedrooms
Mm-hmm.
because me and Simon would obviously be in one bedroom. Kids, if I have two, that's 2 bedrooms, and the fourth bedroom would be for possible family. But obviously, when I first move out, I'm not gonna just automatically have a kid. So I would have technically 3 empty bedrooms for family if they want to visit me, which eventually would happen. And I don't think everyone's going to use all those bedrooms. So I'd probably reserve one bedroom for an office space, which would typically probably be the guest bedroom. But like I said, if I don't have kids, it'll probably be a separate room. And then I would have a guest bedroom, an office room, bedroom and another bedroom. So that fourth bedroom, I don't know exactly what I would do. It could be a craft room. I don't know. It could be a podcast studio. And I think that's where I feel like I can be a little different with a lot of people. Like I feel like there are people who are probably like me and know pretty early in life, oh, I want to be a mom. I want to have kids. I want to experience that. And I feel like I've always had that because I remember every year for Christmas, for the longest time, I would ask for a baby and like a baby doll, clearly, but not a real one. But to me, now being older, looking back at it, thinking more, like a college student that I am, subconsciously, I knew that's what I wanted. Do you see what I'm saying? And also, I would like to say that, you know, that's a little bit controversial, I think. If you think about it, it's like, oh, when kids are young, girls obviously want babies, Barbies, taking care of things, tea sets, because that's all they're going to do. No, that's not all we're going to do. But I think if your kid is asking for it, that's what they want. You know what I mean? So, like, if your kid wants to play with a Barbie and he's a young boy, that's up to him. That's not a bad thing. They could just want to be a father. You never know. But I don't want to get too like into that because that's just more specific to like parenting tactics, I suppose. And I mean, everybody's going to try to sell you whatever they can and it's
Mhm.
marketed to a specific audience. And fine, whatever. I don't want to talk about that. But I feel like although I might have been targeted for those specific items, I knew I wanted them and I wanted them when I asked for them. So for you, to me, it's so odd because knowing who I am, that I wanted a family, or I've always wanted a family, hearing you not really think about, oh, I want a home because it's for my kids. You're like, oh no, an apartment's fine, 2 bedrooms, we're good. To me, I'd be like, 2 bedrooms is not enough. I mean, maybe initially, yes, but I'm thinking, I suppose further down the line, but that's not even true. I feel like I would like to buy a home as soon as I can, and instead of getting an apartment, save up the money to buy the home.
I think is even though yes, I do want to have a family, family is a like future family is not on my mind. And I guess it's easier for me to say that that's not on my mind, maybe because I'm not in a relationship, maybe because I'm not really looking for that kind of stuff right now. I'm just taking life as it is and my priority right now is my life, my career, my aspirations because the time is now and having a kid, even if I can't get pregnant and have a kid, that can happen down the line when I'm ready for it and when I want it. And at this moment, I don't.
You are very selfish. Yeah, that's all I heard because it's like what my needs, what my wants. And I was like, but Kim, I go, it's not all about you. um,
Yes, it's not all about me in that way, but in this kind of situation, the future that I see is revolving around me because I want to have a moment to just solely focus on me.
I will make a mental note. You are not ready to be a godmother. Oh, godmother.
I can be a godmother. I can be an aunt. I'm okay with that. Just not. I'm not ready to.
If I die and Simon die, you take care of the kid. And if that were to happen, well, then you have to pay off our loans because clearly we haven't paid off everything.
I move into your house.
Hmm. Yeah, you see, it's not as easy as you thought. You see, responsibility just knocked on the door and kicked it down because it wasn't waiting for you.
I can be a godmother. It's just I would have to reevaluate my life the moment it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm picking you. I'm just saying you're off the list. Well, Simon had in the past already thought of somebody he wanted to be as godparent, and at the time, it felt right when he mentioned it to me. But now I don't think he feels the same way anymore. And no offense if you know who you are, or if I doubt you listen to the podcast, but like stuff like that. And sometimes I often think, who is mature enough that if I were to have a kid today and something happened to me, to take care of my kid, and the only people I can fully trust would be our parents. No offense. But do you see what I'm saying? But that's just because today, right now, I'm thinking if that were to happen today, right now, my age, if I had already had a kid, you know? But that's because they are our parents. They've already raised three perfect children.
Oh yeah, we're amazing. So angelic.
They would clearly be the best option to raise my kid. And I mean, obviously, being a parent is difficult. There's a lot of mistakes. But I feel, and I know Simon feels, that we have a certain sense of maturity in us already that we're like, I know it's going to be difficult, but I know I can do it. And I know I have the support of my partner, although we don't have kids, I would like to say again, that it feels nice, I suppose. I guess I want to say first, it feels nice to have somebody that you know you can rely on, you know? And I feel like that's probably what you're looking for, a sense of security in a partner. Doesn't have to be a life partner, but just somebody that you can rely on constantly. And it's like really nice. And I totally get what you were saying earlier about finding your place with who you want to be or finding your purpose. Because I often think about how I feel like my purpose is to eventually be like our mom. I think we've talked about this, how she used to work the night shifts and stuff like that to like take us to school and take care of us during the day, and dad would take care of us at night. Well, that was a brief summary, but I remember a lot of things that our mom used to do when we were younger. So she loves every holiday, I feel like, and she likes to do every holiday big. And there are moments like every once in a while that we celebrate every holiday, obviously, but there are certain moments in our lives where some holidays were much bigger and then we shifted to a different holiday. So when we were kids, Halloween used to be a really big thing for us. And then it shifted to like Christmas and Thanksgiving being a really big thing for
Oh
us and
yeah.
our family. And then it was New Year that was a really big thing for us and our family.
Hmm.
We used to throw really big Halloween parties. We used to throw really big Christmas parties or Thanksgiving dinners or New Year's parties. So stuff like that. We've shifted from things like that. And I feel like you've mentioned how you like to create things and like how you'd like to get into crafts and stuff. And that very much is who I am. I've always been that person that liked being crafty and artsy and stuff. I don't think I'm very good at being individually creative. Like I can't think up of a bunch of designs on my own, but if somebody gives me an idea or an inkling of a design, I can build off of it sometimes, which is where mom is good at. She's good at creating ideas, and then I'm good at orchestrating them.
Yeah.
She can be good at it too, but I think I have more patience to do it, typically, is what happens.
I think it's also the time. Right now, she doesn't have the time to do that. So she explains the idea to you, and you're like, yes, I can execute that perfectly fine.
Sir, yes, sir, it will be done in 2 hours. But yeah, it's like things like that. Those are the little things in life that I feel like I would really excel at, which is why I think I would really like being a mother because, ooh, embarrassing the heck out of my kids, love. What 10 out of 10 would do. And then creating, I so desperately want to have a little baby that I can just create their little Halloween costumes. Forget store bought, I'm making it. I don't care.
I would love to know what it is that you're doing in the future as a job so you have the time to do this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like I was born and bred to be this person of building and wanting to create everything handmade. That's like something I so desperately want. And that's why when I think about like my career path and everything, I'm like,
Mhm.
how am I supposed to do this if I'm supposed to be some type of engineer? I don't know how I'm going to have the time to be the person I want to be and managing an engineering position, you know? And that's where like Simon's always like, hey, do you think we can do this? Do you think we can both be working people and raise our kids together? I don't know why he's making me second guess myself when he could change his career path too, but but he's like making it more on me because I'm the one like still getting an education, you know?
And you're the one that's still trying to figure out what your purpose is career wise.
No, no, no. I already, oh, career wise. Okay, I was gonna tell you, I already told you what my purpose in life is. I know what it is. Don't throw that on me.
I threw it on you, just I did a little twist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, that's why sometimes I think maybe I should do something different that would relate to what I want to ultimately do, or at least give me the time to still do what I want to do. But I don't know what else that would be. Unless I could be a super mom for all other kids. I can't, that's not a position. I can't apply for that.
You can be a nanny.
I've thought about that. Oh, actually, when I was in community college, I thought about like child development, but I don't know. I never did it. I never like I thought about it. That's it.
Man, I'm learning so much more about you.
That's why I wanted to get to talk to you because I wanted to see what you thought. Cuz like I've done this with mom where I asked her, I guess I'll throw this in there in here. When she was little, what she always thought she wanted to be when she grew up. And I loved what she told me. I was like, honestly, I would love to do the same thing. And it's like the epitome of like slow living, like being intentional about what you want to do. So we don't really talk about religion here, but I'm going to bring up that we were raised Catholic and our mom was raised Catholic. And when she was young, she used to actually teach kids like the prayers and stuff and prepare them for completing their first communion, I believe she said. I don't remember. This was a long time ago, mind, that she told me the story. But because she used to do that, she always thought of herself like being a teacher, but the way she said it is not indoors. She would teach under a tree in like the perfect peak time of the day where it's like nice, cool, and breezy. And she would just teach under this tree. And I was like, I want that. I want to teach. I want to be outside. I don't want to be closed in.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that was something to me that it's like, wow, you didn't even like say the struggle of how it took you to get to teaching. Because sometimes when you're a kid, you don't think about that, but you knew what you wanted to do. You didn't want to be indoors, you wanted to be outside, you didn't want to be closed in, and you wanted to share something, so knowledge, and you wanted it to be in nature, which is things mom loves. Mom loves to learn. Mom loves nature. She loves growing things. She's really good at it. And she loves life, I feel like. All life. Like, although she always says how she used to not want dogs because she would be the one taking care of it, she's just so good at taking care of things, people, objects, animals. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's alive, mom's good at taking care of it. You know, plants, pets, us. Doesn't matter our ages. She's good at taking care of us.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that. It's like I would like to have that clear thought of what I wanted. And sometimes I think about it like, oh, I should have gone into teaching because I love kids and stuff. I was like, oh, I could have been like an elementary school teacher. That would be so much fun. But I also really like science. So I'd love to be a science elementary school teacher because I just show them cool experiments and explain to them why it works and why it happens.
Then why don't you go into that?
I don't know. I feel like it'll take a long journey, I feel like.
It can't hurt unless you try it.
But I'm already so deep into this. I can't go back. There's no turning back.
I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah. Yeah. But I still don't get that information I wanted from you.
Next episode.
No. No, because I know you're not going to address it.
Okay.
Next episode is going to be called Understanding Kimberly.
Oh no.
Because we just unraveled a world of me.
Again,
yeah. You see? I told you, everyone, this is my podcast now. It's claiming a Playful Escape podcast belongs to Cindy and only Cindy. Kim is only a guest. It feels that way.
go for it. If you want to take it that approach, I will give you all of the responsibility.
No, I don't want that. You can have it back. It's yours. I'm the guest. I'm the one being interviewed.
In that case, I think this episode is over, but we will revisit some of the topics that we discussed today in the next episode for sure.
Yeah. Understanding Life, the future episode of a Playful Escape podcast. Tune in next week, everybody.
All right. In that case, I would like to remind everyone to follow us at A Playful Escape on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We created a YouTube channel so we can upload some of these podcasts on there. And send us an email. Our email is aplayfulescape@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about us. What do you think about our topics? If you have any questions for Cindy or me, or just want to say, hey, I listened to your podcast. Love y'all.
Also, your suggestions. You're running out of time.
Yes. If you have any recommendations, please let us know. Until next time,
Yes, until then.
my name is Kimberly signing off.
And I am Cindy. Goodbye.
Bye.